Good afternoon, this is Stormcastle, and today we're going to look at Amazing Spider-Man 109. It says the script is by Stan Lee. John Romita is the artist, and Artie Simic is the letterer. And most people don't realize how much important a letterer is, but there. So, the Amazing Spider-Man says Enter Doctor Strange. Basically, a whole bunch of thought bubbles, which I'm not going to read, but basically, Flash Thompson is back from Vietnam, and there is he's believed of he's being blamed for the destruction of a temple in Vietnam and the death of the high priest, and Peter knows he's innocent, and as he goes to protect him, Gwen shows up and prevents him from changing into Spider-Man, and Flash Thompson is then kidnapped, and and Peter is lamenting that if they hadn't found him so soon, he could have turned into Spider-Man, but at least he planted a spider tracer. But notice some amazing art here. I went through the story last night, so I can paraphrase a bit. So here he is. And these are nice. Look at these little panels. You got all kinds of really solid details. Peter is all leaning over. He's hunched over. His friend is missing, and Gwen says, "I'm glad you didn't run off this time, Peter. In the past, everyone called you gutless because you always ducked out whenever there was trouble." And he's thought balloons, which I should bring back, as he says, "It's not to be believed. Spidey can't take off and save Flash without her thinking that Parker's chicken." And the police and the MPs are looking around the room. And then, of course, this one cop goes and goes, "Hey, man, these your shoes?" And he's like, he says, "I have to think fast. I took them off so we could climb the walls with my spy powers." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, sure. The explosion must have blown them off when it caught me." Which is really kind of lame, but he's like, "Luckily for me, there was an explosion. Otherwise, everything's too tight to question my story." So he decides to go to, he's like, I need to go to the bathroom to wash up so he can think of a way out. And he goes to the restroom, and he's thinking, and he's like, I got to find Flash, but it'll blow up my cover. And he's like, wait a second, I got this great idea. He realizes that underneath his outfit, if you look, you can actually see the costume. He's like, good thing somebody didn't see it. He goes, wait a minute, what I'll do is he's like, I got this great idea. Then all of a sudden there's a commotion, and Gwen and it looks like a detective. Honestly, or whoever. Honestly, I don't know why an MP would be wearing that kind of outfit, but they see Spider-Man swinging off what looks like Peter's body. Apparently, and she's like, "Oh no, not again! He's taken Peter," but he's just filled the body full of webs. He goes, "Relax, I'm not going to hurt this clown. I just want to ask him a few questions." And she's like, "Oh my God, not again, not again!" And says, "You guessed it. This isn't the first time Spidey's pulled a stunt." Sly Stan. And he's like, "It's a good thing my voice gets muffled and unrecognizable under my mask." "Yeah, not so much, man." And he's like, "Watch it, don't drop him." And Gwen's, It's my fault. If I hadn't insisted that Peter stayed here, I would have let him go." So he drops the dummy off on the thing, and he goes, "Now all I gotta do is find Flash." And this book honestly is pretty good. It does have, it has yellowed some pages. This is from 1972, and he's out, using a spider tracer. For those not familiar, Spider-Man spider tracer, he can sense it with a spider sense. He puts it on a target, and he can track things. So he's over the city, and he's like, it's no big deal. There are only 8 million people in New York, but I planted my Spidey tracer on the muscle-bound misanthrope who grabbed him. Sooner or later, my Spidey sense will start to tingle. Yeah, 8 million. Don't think it extends that far, but and for Flash's sake, I hope it's not too late. Hey, how lucky can I be? It's a start already. And then you can see his spider sense getting stronger and stronger. He says, "It feels stronger the closer I swing towards Greenwich Village. I don't get it. I never felt this strong, and yet Flash is nowhere in sight. What gives?" And then he hears, he's like, Oh no, something's happening. Something's wrong. The sensation's strong. I can't hardly bear it. It's never happened before. And then we see, but Spider-Man doesn't see, the astral form of Doctor Strange. Do not be alarmed. I was forced to resort to extreme and expedient in order to contact you. And Doctor Strange is talking to Spider-Man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to trip over myself over and over again. He doesn't say anything, and Doctor Strange is like, I'm here, just follow my form. And in astral form, how can I follow you? That can only mean, he's like, oh wait, astral form, that can only mean, of course, now you must follow me. And Doctor Strange keeps pulling along the thing along the spider sense, which is kind of cool. The way in No Way Home, Spider-Man, we got to see Spider-Man actually with the waves around him. He follows him all the way over to Indigo Village. And that building down below, I know it before. It's the home of Doctor Strange. Confirming what he suspected, what we knew. But then again, we knew because of the cover. So, and it says, Doctor Strange says, now that my astral form has returned to merge my physical being, I grant you welcome, Spider-Man. Enter. You need to cling to the wall no longer. And a little note from Stan says, if you wonder how they know each other, they've met before. A no prize, if you remember, because we don't, says Stan. And Spider-Man says, you haven't even turned your head. How can you see me? And Doctor Strange says, not for nothing am I called the Master of Mystic Arts. Probably as a mirror, or he saw him as he was, looking at him when his body went in there. He goes, in the name of the omnipotent Oshtar, I greet you. Now be attentive, for there's much I explain. As Peter says, you can say it again. And then Doctor Strange uses the Eye of Agamotto to show the one called Flash Thompson is a captive of those who destroy him. And he says, it's him, helpless. Text says, no sooner has Doctor Strange spoken than the jewel aimed upon his chest begins to glow. And honestly, they shouldn't have been using the Eye of Agamotto. They should have been using the Orb of Agamotto, because the Orb of Agamotto lets you see other places. Or maybe I've read too many Doctor Strange comics. So, he can see the... he goes, quick, tell me where they are, and I get them before too late. And he goes, no, haste will avail you nothing. Let the sounds of their speech be heard. And the captor says, lift up your eyes and see. He goes, why must I look at the idol? He says, idol, you think this is merely an idol? Then look harder, infidel. Look and be appalled at the sight. And the statue in the mist is getting clear. It isn't a statue, it's the high priest, which Flash has been accused of having killed in the army. He's sitting there, he's like, but he's dead. You told me he was dead. He says, dead? Who truly knows the meaning of death? He is entranced. He sleeps the sleep which there is no awakening. Naught can waken him except the death of the one who made him so. And Flash is like, but I didn't. I tried to help him, save him. They're like, silence. It has been decreed. You have captured his spirit by your murderous act. Only your death can release it. These guys are a little over the top. It says, when the holy hour draws near, you will be sacrificed at the altar of the Most High. When your life has left your body, it will enter his. And then we hear a voice say, then will he live again? Who intrudes? It is I, Shashan, humble daughter of him who was once and departed. And honestly, I had forgotten where Shashan came from. I've read much later Spider-Man's comics, and I forgot that Flash Thompson met her in Vietnam. And she appears at least until like the 270s. And then I think at that point, Shashan leaves. But anyways, and they're like, enter, and he's Shashan, the girl who befriended me. And, he's like, I didn't do it. And he says, it's not for me to dispute those who serve my father. So I'm not going to do like a brief. I'm not, again, just trying to show off the art and everything. And the minions of the temple are like, no, we was, when it's the appointed hour, we will kill him, and that, only then. And Flash says, I didn't kill him, I didn't do anything. And then Spider-Man, the image is fading, the sounds are growing weaker. Doctor Strange said, you have seen enough, now you have heard enough. And Dr. Strange explains that priests now sleeps the endless sleep, and they truly believe only the death of your friend can give his life renewed. Thus we must hasten for the holy hour draws near. And Spider-Man says, I don't know how you learned about this, but it doesn't matter now. All you must tell me is, where do I find them? Doctor Strange says, no, I shall do more than that. More? What do you mean? By the 7 rings of Ragador. Since I have donned the cloak of levitation, we will journey together. And then we go to the place where Flash is there, and he's like, maybe it's right, I should die, this is my mistake. Somebody has to die, make up for what's done to them. And then the door opens. He's like, oh no, it's so soon. And then Shashan shows up, and we get a synopsis. And she's like, be silent, they must not find me here. Now, heed the words I speak, because stilted English is always the best in comics in the 70s. He says, you've come to tell me? She goes, it's not fitting. I'm not my father's child. Then why? Why didn't you speak on behalf? She goes, so strongly do they thirst for vengeance they would not believe. But Shashan remembers. You came in temple warning us of the shelling. You would not seek safety for yourself, though we paid you no heed. And so you too were felled by the bombs. And then, while the others fought the deadly flames, Shashan guided you to safety. Hold the sergeant, that's one of her men. And she drags him out, and they grieve because they believe he's dead. And then they're like, it's the fair-haired Occidental, it's his fault. They swear vengeance. And so, she's like, one must die, so one may live again. Such must be our purpose, because that's their belief, and she doesn't want to go against it. And he says, it's come from my die. She goes, you must have a question. You must accept your fate. She pulls out a knife. It looks like she's ready to do him in there. But they're like, no, it's too early. You can't get him yet. And, she cries. He goes, must be see blade. Don't worry, you will have your justice. And they pull her away, and she kind of looks at Flash, foreshadowing what will soon happen. And then Gwen goes to Peter's in Harry Osborn's place, and she's like, "What? Where's Peter? What's going on?" And she's like, "Oh, Spider-Man kidnapped him." And he's like, "No, don't say that." And she goes, "Oh, Harry, it's horrible." And then she realizes Aunt May's there, and she's like, "No, May Parker, I know you're here." She's like, "Oh no, what happened to my boy?" And Gwen's like, "He's not a boy. He's a man. He's my man. You need to understand that." And we all remember the best about Gwen Stacy. We forget that she's very much. And she fights, and she goes, yeah, I know you knew he's your nephew, but, I love him also, and you gotta be, you gotta realize he's an adult. And then she's like, oh no, kind of realizing she's panicking, and May's like, who's Faye? I guess that's May's twin sister. You're every right, you love them both. Perhaps you should have said something before that. And then she goes, perhaps foolish old lady, lonely and unthinking, could smother a person with love. And then we get back to the temple, and they're getting ready it's the holy hour, bring forth the sacrifice. And they say, oh, most venerable of sages, soon you'll live again. He who has taken you from this shall perish at your hand. I mean, this is some good art. The wall, you got great view of you've got great depth in the walls, details. That's some of these old books are so just the amount of details, just the hint of everything behind, he's here and you see the smoke all around him. And his fort is written, a life for a life. And suddenly a blinding flashlight, a deep and piercing call. It is also written, thou shalt not kill. And Spidey and Doctor Strange show up, and look at this. John Romita was really good with his art. I mean, look at the dynamics. The way Spider-Man comes in, of course, you got the motion lines, Doctor Strange casting. This is, let me pull this up. This is some really solid art. I mean, if you look at the detail, you can see, Flash is there with his hands bound behind him. But this is some really solid. And then he breaks the rope, and the big guy grabs him, and he's like, "Don't just stand there, run off. This is right up your alley." And he goes to take off. Spider-Man hits him with a thwip, and they have a other P, and it says, "Phonetics, take note. The silent P, the third P is silence. Carl, you stand," because he needs something else to add. He's fighting the big, large guy there. He goes, "Now I have a leg lock Spider-Man style." And just as it goes on, Doctor Strange starts casting a spell. And we get to the crux of the story. Again, this is some like good detail. Webbed face guy. Almost looks like Crusher Creel did. And then he's like, "Spider-Man, give me some room." And he makes a wall of webs. And then we have, "Let the trance be done. Let the veil be torn." Sorry. Continue after the next page. And then with life begin and ye be reborn. And Flash runs out with, "Fair-haired one, you are free. Now the heart of Shoshan rejoices." He goes, "Then you didn't try to stab me before?" She was like, "No, I wish to sever your bond, save you, but I was just too slow, too weak. I knew it. I was so wrong about you, and all we have to do is, hey, listen, someone's calling you. His voice is the voice of..." And then the old man says, "Bring forth Shoshan. Upon my child I would feast these aged eyes." And she's, "Sainted Father, you live. The trance is ended." And Spider-Man's like, "Look, I'm as gullible as the next guy, but you cannot. But not even you can bring back the dead." And Strange goes, He was not dead. Using the wisdom of the ancients, he survived the shelling by putting himself into a mystic protective trance. All that remained was for the spell to break that trance." He said, "While in the trance, he sent a silent call, which I, with my power, could not fail to heed." And then he says, "Now all is well, and my heart exalts, and is for not a life was lost." And Strange says, "Violence breeds violence, and murder will out. Only is in peace is victory won. But I have said enough. There is a time to stay, and there is a time to speak. A time to say farewell. Do not follow after, for my cloak of levitation shall safely hence." And Spider-Man's like, "Wow, that's one web swinging beat all hollow." And Flash says, "The holy man has told disciples I wasn't blamed for what happened in the clear. So I'm clear now, Spidey. Thanks to all that far mumbo jumbo and to you. I always knew you were right, Joe. Wait till I tell Groovy Gwendy all about this." And Peter's like, "Gwen, I've forgotten about her and Flash. Now that he's a civilian again, how can I compete with Flash? Especially when I know how much she hates Spider-Man." The next issue is the Grinning Gibbon. Anyways, I just wanted to show off this book. Thought it was very nice. Finish your high school diploma at home. I think this might be expired. You make muscles, they can make them. Muscles make a man, according to these things. All the old, nice Stan Soapbox and the old letter pages. But I just wanted to go over this book with a little more detail than usually. I just look at the art. I just wanted to go over about the gist of the story. Honestly, I'd forgotten all about Shoshan. I had a whole bunch of Marvel Masterworks, and I ended like in the 80s, so I had never read this book before. I'd never seen a copy of this book before. That's why I picked it up, and because I like Doctor Strange. And now, actually, I kind of want to get the books leading up to it and the stories after, because in the comics, Shoshan eventually gets together with Flash Thompson, and they almost get married, but the Hobgoblin. But that's 100 and some odd issues from now, anyways. But I hope you enjoyed it. This is Stormcastle from Stormcastle's Comics and Collectibles. Like if you enjoyed this video, comment, tell me what you think about it. If you have this video, if you have this comic, if you've never seen this comic, let me know. Subscribe if you haven't, because I could definitely use more subscribers, and share if you want to. But anyways, keep hunting for the things that you love and enjoy. Have a good day.